Hey, everybody, it's Jareen Renee with World Changer Wednesday and Radical Self Worth Podcast. Thank you so much for joining today. I'm so excited. I'm going to actually go to Facebook and make sure that I actually have this set up correctly because that will actually show me if we're appearing right. Oh, so set up live video wasn't even.
I'm glad you know what you're doing.
Okay. Video source. Post on timeline. Yes. So I wasn't even live yet on Facebook. Well, exactly. So it didn't
No one
actually.
saw anything.
Mhm.
And then we wondered why no one was.
I know. Hilarious. That's the first time it's done that. I mean, because this is the first time I've used this software. Well, no, I've used Be Live before, but I've never had to do it like this. So they've changed the settings on Facebook.
This is a learning experience for all of us.
Mm-hmm.
This is how we grow. Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I wonder why it's making me have to put everything in again. That's weird. I'll just do it from here. And on my Facebook, it says in progress, like in progress.
Oh. Oh, I see two of you now.
Two of you?
Two of you.
Hmm. Oh no, I need a charger.
Oh, where is it? What color is it?
Okay.
70%.
Okay. I wonder. Okay, so I see what's happening. Okay, so now let me go back to Facebook.
Yeah, at least now I can see everybody on that thing.
Pat, right? Title is culturally. Thank you for your patience, guys.
Of course. No worries.
All right, now we are about to go live. Hey, everybody, it's Jeremy Renee with World Changer Wednesday and Radical Self Worth Podcast. I'm so excited for today's episode. This is about the third time that we've done this today, but it's amazing because we are uh, learning so many new things with this brand new podcast, School Solutions Unlocking Parent Power. And I'm so excited to have my friends here with me today, joining us from LAUSD Parent Advocates. And this podcast today is our number 202. And so, again, here, welcome to School Solutions Unlocking Parent Power. This is the podcast where parents take the lead in solving problems at their kids' schools. I am your host, Jeremy Renee, and each week we bring you inspiring stories of parents who are making a difference in education. So get ready to be inspired, empowered, and equipped with the tools to create positive change. This is School Solutions Unlocking Parent Power. And with me today are my friends and colleagues, Kelly Bedford and Alicia Baltazar. You guys say hi. Hey, everybody.
Hello, everyone.
I'm so excited to have you guys today. I'm going to just give you a quick rundown of who they are and the accolades that they have done and the impacts that they have already made on the district and LAUSD and schools all over the Los Angeles area. It's so exciting because there's a lot of transformation happening right now. And so I want to introduce to you Miss Kelly Bedford. She is, sorry, my throat. Kelly is your go-to guru of parent advocates in education. She has spent a great number of years, 25 to be exact, advocating for parent rights, information, equity, and access to opportunity as it pertains to supporting student success. In the same vein, she is concerned with the state of public education, its impact on student performance, and students' overall ability to thrive beyond school. She believes all students are capable of flourishing to the best of their individual abilities, but acknowledges the student environment has to be a safe, supportive, and properly equipped to realize a student's full potential. As a parent of four boys educated within the public school system of Los Angeles Unified School District, she understands ensuring children are properly educated can be a heavy burden for any parent or caregiver. That's absolutely a fact. She says, we entrust our children to schools with the hope they are cared for in a manner that is nurturing, responsible, and provides a level of scholarship that is stellar. But sadly, this is not always the case. Without placing blame on any one person or group, she believes there are great many reasons for this. Let's chalk up, let's chalk the bulk up to a deeply layered bureaucracy that needs reconstructing. I'm going to stop right there because what you just said is so powerful, and I love what that whole thing because there's so much to unpack there. But Kelly's been in the district for over 25 years, and her expertise is derived from practical experience and exposure to a wealth of information and resources available within school districts and beyond them. Her knowledge spans across a wide spectrum of general education, special education, and other subgroups of students. And over the years, she served as an officer and member of various parent and educational communities, groups, and collaboratives. She currently serves as a member of the Board District's Special Education Committee, as well as vice chairperson on the African American Student Advisory Committee. She regularly attends meetings, trainings, workshops, and conferences to keep current and on, excuse me, in new educational development. She's also provided trainings, workshops, and information to professionals in education, families, and community members. Her dedication and service extends from the school site level upward toward the height of the central district level. Wow, Kelly, your resume stems spans for a very long time, and you have so much to give. And I'm so excited that you're joining us today because there's so much to unpack here. And I'm so excited for Alicia Baltazar to be joining us as well. Say hi, everybody, to Alicia.
Hello, everybody.
So glad that you're here. I just want to tell you a little bit about Alicia. First of all, let me just say, Alicia is a powerhouse. If you don't know this, she is a powerhouse, and I love just being able to be around her. She is my friend, a confidant, somebody that I trust, and I'm extremely grateful for her in my life right now. But I'm just going to tell you a little bit about Alicia. She has been featured in the Daily Breeze, LA Times, New York Times, LA Opinion, Random Lengths, Fox 11, Spectrum, NBC, ABC, and she has 9 years of Parent Advocate Committee organizer. She has been a parent advocate community organizer for over 9 years. She is a mother of 3, believes parent participation is key to student success. And I can absolutely agree with that. Alicia is fantastic. I'm so excited and honored to have both of you guys here today. Thank you so much for joining. So let's get into this because we've already been kind of talking today, and we've had a lot of laughs. We've had some, just some insights on our own, just talking to one another and being able to connect. This is such a powerful thing, and this is why podcasting is so powerful, and being able to just connect with people who have the same heart and vision as you for the next generation, because that's what we're here for. So the questions that I have, we're going to unpack these because what do you guys think here when we're talking about school solutions and the culturally, because the topic here today is the let me pull up the topic here is unlocking parent power, discussing cultural awareness and diversity, the significance of cultural competence in schools, and how parents can promote diversity. I'll start with you, Kelly. What does that mean to you?
Well, it definitely means being aware of the differences and similarities that we all have. There are definitely some overlappings. I think that there are also some differences that we share, we can exchange, and we can learn from one another. And we, as a society, we need to appreciate what everyone brings to the table. Everyone has something to contribute. And I think that it is really one of the greatest lessons in life that we can learn is to embrace and accept one another because we're all part of the human race.
Amen to that. What about you, Alicia? What's your take on that?
For me, the word inclusiveness comes to mind. And being able to be included means to be able to acknowledge that I even exist. And for me, it's like when we learn more and more about everybody else's cultures, everybody else's history, you get that, like she said, that connection. And you see what is similar with each other. You see the differences, but you find the similarities. And that's where we find the common ground. That's where we come together as a community. For me, so yeah, just being inclusive, including every culture, every corner of the world, learning the history of everybody, learning the real history of everybody, so we can all come to a place of acceptance.
I love that you just said that. You just unlocked something right there. You said the real history,
Right.
The real history.
Absolutely.
because there's what why did you say the real history?
Because there's no sense in learning the whitewashed history that we've been fed, because that does not have consistency. You know, like I think I've shared with you before in the past, if you would ask me as a little kid what races existed, I would have said, well, there were cowboys, there were Indians, and there were slaves. And I really didn't know anything else existed, anybody else's history that existed outside of those restrictions. You know, we have a tendency when we talk about Black History Month, we talk about just slavery. We don't really talk about anything before slavery or past And I think that's a really big problem. We don't learn anything about like Chinese history, Japanese history, Arabic history. Like if you ask me, I think Arabic didn't exist 100 years ago because we don't learn that history.
Mm,
And how can we be inclusive if we're not included?
right, right.
Please,
No, I'm sorry. Yeah, and I just also like to add, when I was growing up, I'm a little old, a little more seasoned than you all, I believe. But when I was growing up, it pretty much boiled down to there being whites, blacks, and we knew there were others because we had the world map that showed us there were other countries. But basically, it boiled down to the whites, the blacks, and because in my community there were some Asian people that had remained in my community, we had them, and pretty much that was it. And actually, it's interesting. At the time, we didn't even refer to Asian people as Asian. A lot of people misunderstood and were calling them Orientals, but really, Oriental refers to things. And a friend of mine who's a Filipina, she taught me that. She said, no, that refers to things, not people. So yes, but again, our our history was very limited to what they at the time felt was acceptable, what teachers felt was acceptable for us to learn. Yeah.
I think a good example was yesterday. I was in a government building, and on the wall it said 1863, and it kind of just made me like sad and make me like, ugh, you're not getting your training your history of when slavery really ended. And it was like, wow, so we have no LGBT dissolved, and it just, and I think this is where children are missing. This is why they're easily able to say, well, I'm me and you're you and there's no us. Because we don't teach them, and yeah, we all have issues. We all have the same place. We all have the same thing. We all have struggles. We all faults.
And if you look at migration, from the beginning of time, we were all connected in some kind of way. I mean, even like Latinos and blacks fought wars on the front lines together. I mean, our each of our cultures and histories, we're all intertwined in some kind of way. Our paths overlap for so long, but now we've got this divisiveness a lot of times that kind of is very destructive and
And I think that's evident when you see food. When it comes to food, a lot of Filipino food is really like Mexican food. And a lot of Mexican food is really like home cooking, that country cooking, right? That ethnicity, and there's a lot of commonality there.
Yes.
And then, by the way, I love to use food as a way to break those barriers.
Yes.
Bring in your culture of food and let me try it. And just let's break those boundaries.
Right.
I love that. That's so true. I think that it kind of speaks to when we talk about social emotional wellness in schools. Um, if if you don't teach about the history or identity of the student, then the social emotional element is lacking,
Yes.
and they're not going to get completely what they could get had they been equipped with who they were and their identity and the power of who they are, not only their DNA, but just the mental capacity that they have. Like we're all so powerful if we really were able to just kind of have that understanding and awareness and not really be taught what to think, but how to think. So I think that's a powerful element. So the next question that I wanted to ask here is how do how can parents support their kids' social emotional development and well-being in partnership with the schools?
I'll start off with my first word that comes to my mind is presence. Being present. Being as present as you can possibly be at every level that you can. And again, it goes right back to where I believe that student success depends on their participation. If you're not participating in your school, you're not participating on a school level, how do you expect your child to succeed?
Right.
And I want to start off by saying many years ago when I was a child, parents didn't necessarily have to be in the schools like they are now because most children were learning during that time. It was a different day, a different age, and society has evolved since that time. And today we know in education that there are just so many gaps that need to be filled. So, of course, the priority is the student, our children. So we have to be present. We cannot leave it to the devices of any one person at our schools because otherwise our kids are not receiving the resources, the education, or anything that should be delivered to them. So we have to be present. And first and foremost, our children need to understand that we are there. They need to feel our presence. They need to know that if something is happening at the school, that we are there in a nanosecond. They need to understand that because then that helps with how they feel, the social emotional development and wellness. They know that they are safe in that respect. And I just also feel like we need to we need to inform our children's teachers that we have expectations. Not only do we have the expectations of our children to perform, we also have expectations of the teachers. And also, I let them know I have expectations of myself, and I let them know how I am available at any time to be supportive to my child's education.
Oh my God, that's so true. It's so true. Um, what do you think are some strategies that uh, parents can use to stay informed about their child's progress and actively participate in their education?
So one of the first things I would say is you have to understand the power of building relationships with the people at the school first and foremost. They need to know that, again, like I just said, that you will be there in a heartbeat when necessary. You need to learn about the programs and you need to meet the teachers. Um, for instance, every semester, well, when my oldest son was in school, he had an IEP, and I made sure that each and every one of his teachers in the general education setting knew that he had an IEP because sometimes they didn't even know that he had an IEP. So I would come with IEP in hand, introducing myself, letting them know this is, these are the services and supports that he will need while he's enrolled in your classroom. Let's communicate regularly and consistently so that I can monitor his progress because I just don't need the teacher to be the gatekeeper of what's happening with my son in the classroom or any of my kids. I need to be informed. I need to be kept up to date. There are various other things and strategies. I would say, I mean, there's the learning management systems that school use. For instance, within this school district, LAUSD, they use Schoology. So that's kind of like my first line of information to find out how my child is performing in the classroom. But again, I think that personal touch is what is going to be very important. Just for everyone to know and let them know that you have the expectation that they are supportive and then you're supportive from home and that the child thrives because
That's very good. I like that. And for me, it's all of that. And I go just a little bit of a step further and join the district group levels and everything. So that I know what's going on, not just on my school side, but as a district level. Some things affect schools, some things don't, but it's good to know as much as you possibly can. And yeah, and just really being present again and letting everybody know that I am present.
Right.
I'm here. I'm not one of those absent parents. You can come to me, you can talk to me. I'm gonna go all the way.
Mm.
And it is, like you said, it's very important to know everybody on that campus, not just that teacher, our duties, principals, office, everybody you
Can I just also add that, I just want to kind of dispel one thing. Sometimes teachers and administrators believe that when parents are not physically present, that equates to them not caring. And that is not true at all. It just may be that there are other responsibilities. Maybe the parents don't feel welcome when they do come to the school. Maybe there's been bad experiences when they do come to the school to address an issue, or maybe they had a bad experience going through school when they were children. There could be a lot of different reasons why parents do not visit the school site, but it certainly doesn't mean that they don't care. They may be engaged in other ways by finding outside resources for their children, and they engage in that way. Maybe they help them with the homework at home, so they are still engaged. but just not in the typical way that this district has it set up for most parents to be engaged, like through the committees and whatnot, although we do all of that.
And thank you for pointing that out, right? Because I don't want to have parent bashing, you know, I know
Right.
there's so many of us that have to work and we have very demanding jobs and, you know, we may only really get to connect on the weekends and then we really can't connect at the school level when we connect to our child and, oh yeah, I think you make the space for
Yes.
that, yes. Again, the
Those are good. Yeah, absolutely. Those are good points. And I mean, how do you? I think for some parents who it's hard for them to communicate or understand how to effectively engage. What are some effective ways to engage parents from diverse cultural and linguistic backgrounds in the school community, do you think?
First, can I just start off? I just want to say one thing because you mentioned communication. You
Mhm.
said sometimes parents may not understand or know how to communicate with the schools. But let me just say that the number one complaints that I often hear from parents is that they feel communication is lacking from the school side and from the district. So it's kind of like the reverse is true for parents. At least that's through the parent lens, that is what it's felt. Communication is always the number one concern of parents all across the school district. Um, but I feel like, you know, we all want the same things for our children. We want them to thrive. We want them to have be delivered quality education. So sometimes these things can become upsetting. So, and then when you may approach a school site, a teacher or an administrator, and you try to have a discussion with them, they may either say some things that make you feel like they're dismissing you, or and see that starts that starts you off on the wrong track with the school because you feel as though they don't care about what you're saying, they're discounting you and your concern. When in fact I mean, the district talks about equal partnership. They talk about wanting to hear your voice, but then in so many instances, you are shut down, your voice is silenced. And if you are not one of the parents who will just keep driving and driving your point home, you will get shut down. You will feel defeated. You will go away. Maybe you have to ask for other help from other people. I mean, it's communication is just a huge issue. That exchange is just something that needs to be worked on. And I think mostly from the district side, because no matter where you are in your own ability to communicate with schools, the schools should have that empathy to be able to listen to you and hear where you are with your concern and help you to address and resolve any issues that you may
I agree with that. Awesome.
I double agree with that, Kelly, because I find that when I'm talking to parents about problems, it's the same problem over and over and
have.
over.
Absolutely.
It's repetitive, and it's like, if the school would just hear us
Right.
on this level, there would be so many solutions that follow.
Absolutely.
And it really is that disconnection of communication. And I feel like the things that they do communicate with us is like, we don't care about that. We don't really need to know about that. And the stuff that's important to us is important to us.
Right. And that also brings to mind about, and I keep saying this at meetings, is that the district's model of parent engagement is antiquated for parents right now. So you often hear teachers and administrators say, well, we've done this, we sent out a Blackboard Connect message, we did flyers, and whatever it is that they feel they can do. We did emails, but we don't know why they don't come. They don't say anything to us. Here's what I always respond. And I say, they are parents are speaking to you. And when I say parents, I mean parents, families, caregivers, whoever you may be. I'm just using the word parent. But anyway, the parents are speaking to you. When they don't show up, they are telling you something. You're just not hearing the message. That's number one. And then again, number two is that engagement looks different. Like I think I said that earlier. Engagement looks different depending upon the family. And so some people in families have time to come to meetings, go across the district, go to conferences and whatnot. And sometimes these meetings are scheduled in the morning. Some parents can't make that 9 o'clock meeting, which makes it very inconvenient. Some schools do not post recordings of meetings so that maybe parents can view them later. There are things that I think that could be done to close and bridge these gaps that that maybe it's too demanding for them to do. But if you really want to reach parents, you have to go take that extra step, go the extra mile for them. But I just also feel like, um, well, yeah, there's just a lot of things that I think that could be done that
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you say how um, culturally how people connect, and I feel like I just remember this year going into the office of the assistant principal, and I said, how can we really connect with parents? Because most parents are going to connect with something about their child. So if you're sending out something and it's about the fentanyl awareness and it's the drug thing, but your messaging is come to this drug awareness, drug fentanyl, and it sounds so scary
and
and negative.
Yes.
And like we're already bombarded with negativity all over the
Yes.
place. And we're like, okay, I really don't want to go to no fentanyl awareness training today. What how do you put how do you make something that is important, that that is something that is around your child? How do you message it in a way for parents that actually makes them want to come hear that type of training?
Well, that's how it happened for me. Is not only do you do that, but then when I do get up and I go to this kind of class, it's not relevant to my child. Like you're talking about things that like are true for a 30-year-old addict, not for a 13-year-old addict. And then you're still going home with no information. And then when I see the next one, it's like, yeah, I don't want to go that because this was such nothing this and blah, 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 that. And then I just become annoyed every time that they send me these classes. And I'm like, well, what? You're not going to teach me that. You're not going to talk about the real issues. You're not going to talk about my kid. And it's frustrating.
So, Alicia, I think what you're speaking to relevance. Again, you have to know your target audience, and you have
Yeah,
to speak to them and provide them information that is pertinent to them and their child, definitely. And also, sometimes I feel as though when we get this negative, I'm going to just say this negative information that's not so good,
right.
negative information.
Yeah.
It can kind of sometimes feel as though the powers that be feel as though that maybe this applies to black and brown because we are the minority cultures in society. And it's not just black and brown who may be having issues with addiction. It spans far and wide. But again, I think that one thing that could be done so that it doesn't sound so negative, because when something doesn't sound good, you kind of go, wait a minute here. I don't know about this. I might not be ready for this. I don't feel like becoming depressed, anxiety, having to deal with anxiety or something like that. But perhaps what could happen is find stories maybe of people in the age of the students that we're referring to that have had success in overcoming addiction or just saying no to drugs or just some more success stories. Again, provide opportunities for people to feel good about something. Yes, it's a scary topic, and not that you want to sugarcoat it or anything, but just that there is light at the end of the tunnel. You know.
My other thing too is that they tell you what they scare you, but then they don't tell you what to do. If my child is experiencing problems and veterinary problems, where do I take him? How do I get him help? They also don't tell me the facts. And again, I'm used to this situation.
Well, so I said all that just to say I went to the fentanyl awareness training, this last one at Carrollville that our nurse, Miss Grant did, and it was phenomenal actually. The information was actually it was very, very compelling because just the way that it's being marketed to children. And it was an awareness for me that I didn't realize that this was happening. And
Yeah.
there were instances that it had happened in some schools. Sorry, thank you. There were instances that it had happened in some schools, and I was not aware of it until having this meeting. But my concern was that there was only three parents that actually came to the meeting, and that's why I said I went into the, the office of the AP and I said, how do we get parents to come to this workshop that's probably 4 workshops long? What can we put in the messaging? Because that to me is how you draw people, is the messaging behind what you're putting forth. So, I said maybe we can put something like how to talk to your child about their feelings. Maybe there's something along the lines of why children decide to get into drugs or alcohol or dabbling in different things, because a lot of times it starts emotionally. And so if our schools aren't dealing with the social emotional aspect of what our kids are dealing with in school, these types of predatory drugs and things can pop up and affect our kids. So it's up to us as parents to really be advocates in making sure that we start these conversations with our kids, and that we're tapped into what's going on in their lives, and really try to understand them, and hear what they're trying to say, not just with their mouths, but with their actions, with their energy, I mean, there's so many different ways our kids talk to us. There's so many different ways that we can tap into our kids. And I think it's being aware, first as a parent, being aware of yourself. And we talked about this earlier. We were talking about how self-care is like number one in really being able to tap into really anything in your life. So like tapping into ourselves and making sure that we are good and that we are sound. And when we are sound, our kids are going to be sound. Our kids are going to be in alignment with how we are feeling and how we are doing. So I feel like that's one of the most important things to take away from that.
I think it's also important to realize that children are experiencing, I'm going to say, quote unquote, life, you know, a lot earlier than they had in the past. And when I talk about life, I'm not just talking about living, living, breathing. I'm talking about the things that perhaps children should not know about yet.
Right.
They are exposed earlier. So you also have to pay attention to who their peers are, who are they hanging around with, who might be maybe bullying them at school. Kids have this thing about not being a snitch, and so they can be being bullied every day, but don't want to tell because being that snitch is far worse in their young mind than telling someone, and so that someone can come to their rescue. But also, I think it's important to talk to because the way that these drugs are being masked, they can look like gummy bears or whatever. And I tell my kids all the time, listen, just because maybe JJ took something and you think nothing's happened to JJ doesn't mean that you should or could take the same thing and you will have that same result. You and JJ are two different people, but I hope you are using your brain to know that this is just not something to take, period. So do not take anything from anyone. If you need candy or something, you go buy your own candy. You cannot trust what other people want to offer you because sometimes other people take things and they think it's funny. Oh yeah, let's put something in his drink or her drink, or let's give this person this gummy bear, and we just tell them it's gummy bear, but really it's something far worse and more harmful. So we have to now because of the way the world and society has evolved, we now have to tell our children you cannot even accept offering of certain things from other people. It's politely say no. And if they insist and become persistent, then you have to get a little tough with it and say no.
And maybe it goes down to the point that that person offering it to you might not even know if it's true. Also, not letting them numbers and it comes down to too, like you're
Mm-hmm.
some people are allergic to the truth. They're perfectly fine eating that or not.
mean, how? I mean, I'm just kind of thinking, how do we, as parents, teach our kids how to see the world? Because I feel like it's deeper than just like, oh, if that person is, um, you know, that kid is doing this or that, if they seem like, I mean, because I almost kind of feel like we teach our kids to be judgmental, and we don't even realize that because we have our own biases. So I feel like our own biases will lead into our children if we don't deal with the way that we see them. And for example, when I was in kindergarten, I was 5 years old, and I just remember uh, going to the bus, and it was probably a few days that I actually got abused by these two white boys, and they were calling me a nigger. I didn't even know what the word nigger was. And I was just like, why are they calling me? Why are they calling me this name? And they were poking my legs with these pins in the in the seat. I mean, it was traumatizing to me. But I didn't really know how to react, but I felt some type of way, and I just remember crying on the bus. And I got back home, and I just remember when they got off the bus, they they were their mom came around, and I remember people going, "That's that nigger, that's the nigger," to his mom, right? And I'm like, so you see that it's these biases are really passed down to the kids, and it's these kids that are taking these abusive behaviors that they see their peers doing and inflicting it on other children.
Yes.
And if we don't teach our kids, if we don't teach ourselves really truly how to love ourselves, because that really only came from a self-hatred parent, a parent that is hating themselves and bleeding that onto their child in order for them to inflict the same thing on someone else because they hate themselves. And it's learned behavior, yes. Yeah.
But it's just being responsive to the changes that are happening in society. We are the mother lionesses here, or the papa bears, or whoever is taking care of the granny, whoever is taking care of the children. And so we do, in some respect, have to teach them to be critical thinkers about the negative things because we're trying to protect them. So we don't mind if I share everything that I see that's happening. Here's my girlfriend, he's in the head start. He goes on and he tells me, Mom, what's racist? And I'm like, oh, here's that big old word, right? And so I told him, what, baby, you're not going to believe this, but there are people in this world that hate him because, and by the way, he's black. That don't make any sense. And he looked at his arm and he looked at my arm and he looked at his arm and he said, but we're not even the same color. Nobody's the same color. And very observant. And he ran off to the room to away and I thought, okay, that was the end of that. But I didn't that doesn't make any sense. And he told me, look, I'm sorry, that racism doesn't make sense, but that's the definition. He said, but God made rainbow. Oh, yeah, he did. And he said, flowers aren't the same color, birds aren't the same color. Even the sky is the same color over there and over there.
Yeah.
So
Diversity.
why are we so the same color? And I said, yeah, we're not. And he said, doesn't make any sense. You have that about and he came back and he said, Mom, there's good reasons to hate people, like there's mean people, and there's bad people, and I don't want to hate them, but I don't want to do racism. So I said, okay, baby, let's make a pact. We are not going to do racism in this house. We're going to only hate bad people that do bad things to us. We're going to love everybody else. I said, okay, and that's too. And that's too. That's a tribute to your parenting, seriously. And bravo. That's all. because it's only every person.
And look at it from his and I thought, God made a rainbow because he wanted everything to be colors. And yeah, you look at a plant, even the same flower on the same plant, but not the same sugar, they both love you.
Yeah,
So it's like, yeah, why would he expect us to be the same color? There is no sense. It's heavy. And I could totally relate. I love that. I can just try as hard as to make sense.
mhm,
That's
Right,
the
right.
time that we start thinking like that, we start
absolutely.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, those are constructs, what they call the constructs of evil. It's only man who constructs evil, and God doesn't construct evil. Like spiritual things is really like there's no color. It's all like it's all love, and I think that's why I feel being able to connect with who you are authentically and really teach from a perspective of unconditional love for yourself. Because when you have that unconditional love for yourself, it's a lot easier to see people with compassion. Because if you can see yourself with compassion, if you can have compassion for yourself, then you're automatically going to have compassion for other people.
teach me that there are good people.
Um,
Sometimes you
yeah,
and at the same time keep that caution.
Sometimes bad things. It's a it's an opportunity to learn about empathy because sometimes people do bad things because of certain things they have
absolutely.
done.
Yes.
Sometimes we don't know.
Right.
Sometimes we don't know that. That's like those little boys. They didn't really know how much I was putting on me. They didn't want it.
Mhm.
They thought that was right. And in some places, you have to
I can say that being teased and bullied, know, you still, as an adult, you still feel that. And by that, it sometimes it can become a trigger for you even in your adult life. Depending upon, how you resolve it within yourself. I don't know. One thing I wanted to say in regards to how all of this ties into education is that we can each do our individual parts to, to teach the great lessons and to be what we want to see in the world, right? However, in schools still exist what today is now known as the Karens and the Keys, right? So it's like, how do you can have all the anti-bias training that you want to give teachers and administrators, but if they are biased, if they are racist, it's almost something you cannot teach them not to be because they've been that way for so long. So and they exist in our schools. They're training our teachers and administrators. And so it's how do parents then go about navigating that system in schools so that their students thrive, and that that we shield them from some of those things. They still have to go to school, even though these people are in the
I want to touch on that because I think you just pulled out a great point. Because it and I think that's why it's so important. Your self concept is so important as a parent. Because if you don't have a proper self if you don't have a proper self concept, you're going to see your world as jaded. You're going to see your world as um, so when I say self concept, I mean how you view yourself. And most of us have been conditioned to view ourselves in a way that is not self serving, really in a way that is disempowering. We don't believe that we're worthy. We don't believe that we are enough. We don't believe that we're valuable or capable. Um, you see, most of the parents who said it's kind of like it's cyclical because parents say, "Well, I have problems going into the office and asking for what I need. I don't even know what to ask for." They don't even most people are conditioned to believe that there is a power outside of them that's stronger, and if they don't have that power from within themselves, then they go into a situation as if they are beneath and not an equal. And it has to be, if we're going to work together as a school community, as a public community, we have to know that we are partners. We're equal partners, and we are equally invested because all of our children go to this school, and we're invested because we love these kids and we want to see positive changes for the next generation. So teaching self-concept to parents is extremely important if they don't have those skills, um, so that when they do try to advocate for their student, for their child, they know who they are and they're confident in who they are and they can address issues from a place of empowerment and not from a place of feeling inferior. So, you guys have to say that.
Or
Right. Come on. Exactly. There you go. Come on. Mm, mm, mm. Yep. Mm, criticism. Mhm, mhm. That's a great point because I think parents can get defensive so easy or triggered, and it's because they haven't really dealt with their self-concept, which really stems from a lot of childhood trauma. That's really where a lot of our self-concepts are conditioned from our environments, the way that we grew up, the culture in which we grew up in, our schooling. I mean, there's so many things that are involved with conditioning. Like religious conditioning, if you grew up in a very religious household, like I did, you have these limitations on your mind where you feel inferior to anyone and everything. And so you don't think that you're enough. You don't believe that you have a voice to speak up. And you're always like, well, let me pray and this and I don't have to do it. Like almost as if you can't use your own voice. Like it's almost like your power has been stripped from you and you need someone else to advocate for you. But really, if you knew that you were the power, that the power is within you, then you can truly advocate for your student and your kids. And I think it's so important really just to have a positive and constructive
We were are enough. But on the flip side of the then you've got the parents, probably more like myself. I do not feel inferior.
Mhm. Mhm.
I just don't.
Now.
I go in there. I have what I get my talking points. I know what I need to say. I know what my goal is. I know what I intend to come up with.
Mhm.
And yes, and most times it is the way that I see it.
Mhm.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, right.
Mhm. Yeah.
And that's
Yes.
other than throw you or kick, do it. Do it. Otherwise, go get it. Go make it. You have a voice. Open your mouth. Use it. So yeah, I see myself as or like no, she's not like why? My parents always say we need it.
Right,
What do you
exactly.
mean? I'm just gonna go with me now.
Facts,
Absolutely.
facts, facts.
Yes.
You know, always remember that you are
Absolutely. And what people need to understand, working students, that we are the if we do not put our children in your school, you have so please learn to be a little bit more respectful, a little bit more welcoming, a little more empathetic, and build those relationships. Treat parents as equal because we are, and all we want is to be supported, and we're there to help you because on a daily basis, what's not being done for our children in school, we hear from even the teachers and administrators, what's not done for kids. So you all listen to us for our help, and then when we come there, we spend our time and our skill set, and that's another thing, is that parents are oftentimes hungry, and so we don't know what we're talking about because we don't have the teaching. But that means nothing. We have our experience, we are our teachers, we have a lot of skills to bring to the table. We have powerful contributions, and I feel like sometimes there's place falls on deaf ears. But they need to open up your ear and hear what we are saying and be receptive to those. You just be receptive and implement some of those things. You're looking at something from a parent lens. You're looking at it from a teacher lens, which is quite different. And our way will sometimes work for you. Sometimes your way. Yeah. Uh, at least you said you're ready for corporate. Oh, yes,
I think it's really interesting. I think some parents might, I know I have dealt with this in my parenting journey where I dealt with a lot of loss, especially for things that, being in a failed marriage and then, my kids have been through divorce, feeling like you have failed your kids. And I know that that can sometimes get in the way of being involved in their school because I've already failed as a parent. You feel like you've done things wrong or you haven't done things perfect. But, yeah, yeah. Or you exactly, exactly. Mm, Well, I mean, I feel like that's when you're talking about unlocking parent power, it's really kind of unlocking these wounds that we've had. Because I mean, I think when you're parenting and your kids are going through school, it's such an emotional experience for parents because every stage is different. So I saw something in the grocery store the other day, and she's like, "Yeah, I have grandkids." And I was like, "So you've experienced all of this because she's got, she's gone through elementary school with her kids, middle school, high school, graduation, her kids getting married, having kids, having grandkids. That's a parenting journey. And you learn a lot through that whole, I mean, Kelly, you can probably speak on that.
At one time, I had a child on every year, so like pre-K, elementary, middle school. So I was all over the place because everybody was on a different level. But also, just from the simple fact that we are all who are not alike, they're not alike at all. They have commonalities, but the personalities of me. So I have to wear many different with, and I'm sure that most other people do the same thing. Two children.
Right.
You know, so see, that's when you turn that around. Some of your
So another good question that can bring up some more conversation is, um, what are some resources or tools that are available to empower parents in advocating for their child's education needs? Talk about this here.
yeah, one thing important, but the one other parents who have more experience in certain schools or certain districts, of course, there are certain meetings that you can join at the school level, at the regional level, at the institute level district, but also there are groups that provide that are outside. Can we just kind of link that into we talk about different. Now, while our children should have that same opportunity of course, we know that doesn't happen. Sometimes it doesn't happen because of budgeting. Sometimes it happens because of leadership. And I just feel that, the more and more there's talk, the more and more there's that discovery that there are certain who are not the best fit for us. And I think that that should be something that may even be to, if the leadership is not good, I mean, you're going to affect teacher morale, other administrative morale. It's like you're going to hear
Mhm.
and so there won't be those great opportunities that should be happening. Not to say that needs success, not as grand as
Mhm. That's really powerful. I think it's so powerful that you say that because you really do have to be tapped into the experiences of the parents that are happening in the school and the community. And I think that's probably one of the reasons why I do favor community schools so much because if we had more hours, I think, to really give to needs of the community, because I think schools are like 24 hours, right? You know how they work. right now I'm kind of moving into a controversial topic here. Say this. The last podcast that we had, we talked about the transgender LGBTQIA community in LGBT and how it's being affected and what happened at Seneca Elementary in Seneca in the Valley. So there was a protest that happened there. Teachers for an event that they had in Pride Month, and parents were protesting that our kids are being indoctrinated by the reading the book for Pride Month. The book that they were reading was a book basically about families, about LGBTQ community families that are present at all of our schools. And like a two mom, two dad type family, and you explain to them, you're providing a lesson for them that they can learn from, so that when they come upon that in the world, they understand it. Because there's a learning opportunity about absolutely. And it doesn't have anything, it shouldn't have anything to do with it's just what I feel like absolutely. I mean, I feel like that's a duty of you can't be responsible to teach children and not teach them the way the world and the because that's what LU is being ready for the world. When our kids graduate, are they really ready for the world? They don't have the same self concept in their mind of who they are and who other people are, and accepting who other people are as well as accepting themselves. You have to kind of draw that line at the beginning. And I feel like that's why they have the law of separation of church. If we didn't have, if we had principles that were only geared toward a religious perspective, and all these other perspectives didn't matter, then it's kind of like saying, well, we went into the political debate here, and like trying to get to this podcast, it's not political, but when we go into blue lives matter, but black lives matter, but white lives matter, but all lives matter, like all lives matter, yes. Black lives matter, yes. Blue lives matter, yes. White lives matter. We know all lives matter, okay? But if we're not really truly teaching inclusivity, do all lives matter?
way far along. You know, so please, that is
Right. Absolutely. And I think too, when you talk about critical race theory, I think if we really understood how connected and less, not that we are not different, because we all have our cultural differences, we all have our individuality, but at the core of who we are as a human race, like we are all conscious, we're all conscious beings, and we have a power within us to create either positive change or negative change. And that is really only going to be dependent on you because it's you who creates your reality with the thoughts that you think. And I think as parents, if we're instilling value into our children, if we instill in them a level of self acceptance, level of knowing, oh, I don't care what grade you get, I still love you regardless. You're still valuable. You're still beautiful. It doesn't matter. I'm not looking at your value based on your grade. I am seeing you as a individual human being with your own gifts and talents and those things. And if we see ourselves that way, it's going to be so much easier to accept our children that way and not really try to force our beliefs upon them, but allow them to grow and to shift and to change and to grow into an identity. You know, in high school and college, we are, then we can make decisions when we get to 25 has been developed and we've gone through this process. And I think that's what a lot of parents are I love and I don't think her son actually the assignment surgery, but I love the fact that Jen is supportive, regardless of whether he identifies as she's supporting her child because she loves her. And I think as parents it's hard to guide our kids. And I don't necessarily parents who have religious ideologies who are as to protect your child to like what you believe is understanding. I don't have a problem with that. I think my problem is that we decide to put your child and you know that there are different people, you know that there are children who are raised in LGBT schools or who are from black and brown communities or different ethnicities, and you teach them to not accept them. You are actually being the hindrance to a progressive society that we are all wanting to have, which is creating more peaceful environments where there's acceptance and there's Well, I mean, you don't see it the way they get it all. You know, because your perspective matters, my perspective matters. How do we come to agreement on whether or not we should agree? Like I may come up with a word, and that may be my spiritual practice, strength and light, quiet, and child. You may have, you may be Christian, have values and the Bible, and those are your beliefs. However, if your beliefs don't align with someone else's, is it your duty to protest their beliefs? It is not, because wow, but I mean, but how do we raise kids to be accepting and lifestyles? Because if we as parents we don't accept other people's lifestyles, have somebody, we put those biases onto our children and just so good. Yeah, because I remember growing up not really being exposed to being exposed to other types of families, you know, because we were taught to be afraid of them. If you teach fear, you're not going to have experiences that you could have that can actually benefit you, you know. And if we're more inclusive and open and accepting of ourselves first, because if we just sort of we don't deal with ourselves, that's the self. If we don't deal with that, if we don't see ourselves as we don't see ourselves as and love the world, and you're not going to see anyone else. It really does start. because of his self-concept, because of who he knew he was, his conscious, he would go into spaces that were white, and he would not regularly know, he wouldn't even realize that he was there. Like, even though they acknowledged him, they, because of the way he saw himself, it was almost like the people that were around him were into cognitive dissonance. There's a confusion of wait a minute, I'm supposed to be here, but I don't have a problem with him being here. I really like this guy. Like this is how you condition yourself to. It's almost like you see yourself as you. If you condition yourself to say, I'm amazing. I accept every bit that I'm always. I've always liked people love me. People worship me. I mean, you can condition yourself really with anything, and if you say it enough times, it will become a belief, and it will become, and it actually will manifest into your reality. And this is what that was honored, and this is how. That's why I'm so happy on this psychology. A person in different places, right? So I mean, I feel like teaching self-concept to children, basically teaching them it's just a simple, it's really simple, but teaching them to love themselves regardless of regardless of everything, teaching them to love themselves. Yes, yes, yes. So I think there's all we already have pillars listed, like the state, we have 5 pillars, that we all collaborate with, right? So empowering parents and opportunity, what opportunities exist for parents now to collaborate with educators in shaping educational policies and decisions? I feel like, I'm reiterating myself, probably because self-worth to me is something that really hard to change. Anything is possible. And you can take any initiative to your child's school and look and empower their imagination. And I think that if we teach our kids at young ages to continue using imagination, Unlocking Parent Power podcast. Tap, 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 click, click, click. So I want to thank you guys so much for coming and so thank you again for tuning in to another episode. Remember, when parents come together and sharing your website,